Welcome back to Primal Instinct. Today I'm looking at UFC 316. It's the main card picks, and kicking it off, we've got Kevin Holland against Vicente Luque. This should be a fun one. Kevin Holland always brings entertainment, and Vicente Luque is pretty much never in a boring fight either. Both guys are very well rounded, both got good striking and a very well accomplished ground game too in their jiu-jitsu. But I'm going with Kevin Holland. I think in the striking he's going to be too long, too rangy, and too powerful, too fast for Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque throws combinations well together, but I just think Kevin Holland's going to be able to control the fight from the outside and pick his shots when and where he wants them. If the fight goes to the ground, I think Kevin Holland's also accomplished enough to be able to navigate through that and get back to his feet and back to the striking where he's going to be most comfortable against Vicente Luque. And after that, we have Patchy mix against Mario Bautista. Now, I'll be honest, haven't seen a lot of Patchy mix. It's his first fight in the UFC, former Bellator champion, the last Bellator champion in the weight class before they got took over from the PFL. Now, from what I've seen, he's a good wrestler, an accomplished wrestler, and that's where he likes the fight to take place the most. Mario Bautista, very well rounded. I've seen him. He likes to use the hands. In his last fight against Jose Aldo, he did kind of go for the more pressing up against the cage route instead. But Jose Aldo is a savage, so can you blame him? It was quite a boring fight in the end, but he got the job done. But I'm going to lean towards Patchy mix. I think he's going to be quite wrestling heavy, and he's going to use what he needs to do to get the job done. He's not coming to the UFC at this point in his career as a former Bellator champion to play games. He's going to have goals, as well as Mario Bautista's got his goals to get to that top level of the UFC within this division and probably at least get a title shot is what he's looking for and try to get the belt. But if he loses at this point to Mario Bautista, who's not a name in the UFC, and he's a former Bellator champion, where is he really going from there? So I think he's going to be motivated enough. So is Mario Bautista, but he's going to be motivated to come in and get the job done. Now after that, we have Joe Pyfer against Kelvin Gastelum. This fight has been rescheduled. It was meant to happen previously in Mexico, but then Joe Pyfer got sick and he had to pull out of the fight. Again, I'm going to run through this rapid. I think Joe Pyfer is going to get the victory. He's going to be too big, too strong, too tall for Kelvin Gastelum. Kelvin sometimes doesn't always seem the most motivated. I believe he will be, but I think according to this, he's only 5'8". Joe Pyfer's apparently 6'2". Joe Pyfer is going to be too big, too strong, and he's going to hit Kelvin. And I'm actually going to go and say, I think Joe Pyfer might be the first person to knock Kelvin Gastelum out. So that's going to be my pick. And then after that, we're into the co-main event. Now this one is going to be Julianna Pena against Kayla Harrison. Interesting fight this. Kayla's coming to the UFC and she's kind of been almost pushed and picked like she's going to be this future UFC champion. Now this is her opportunity to get that, to get the belt, to get the strap. She's going up against Julianna, who is a dog in there. You know, she stopped Amanda Nunes. She just walked forward and threw strikes. And I think in the first two rounds, Kayla Harrison will be quite dominant. She's going to go in, use her judo, accomplished judo, 2 gold medals, former PFL tournament winner, champion, all of that. She did lose at 155 to Larissa Pacheco before coming to the UFC, and this fight's going to be at 135. Her first 2 fights in the UFC, also 135, but she was hit 136. Is this weight cut going to start to take its toll on her? We saw in her last fight against Ketlin Vieira, round 3, she started to slow down. She couldn't really push the pace anymore. She couldn't really get close to her. She couldn't get the takedown. She did struggle. So if she doesn't get the job done in them first 2 rounds, I think rounds 3, 4 and 5, Julianna's going to be walking her forward. She's going to stop the takedown. She's going to start throwing them scrappy punches like she does. And I can see Julianna getting the win, spoiling all of the UFC's plans to have this big fight between Kayla and bring back Amanda Nunes, because that's what they're talking about doing. And I'm actually going to favour Julianna in this matchup. If Kayla can't get it done in the first 2 rounds, I'm picking Julianna Pena to win. And I could actually see her maybe stopping Kayla as well. But yeah, a few notable matchups before we go to talk about on this card. You've got Joshua Van versus Bruno Silva. I really like Joshua Van. He's only 23 years old. He's got great boxing, great striking, and he always puts on a show. He comes in for a fight. He's ready for war. Now, he's one to watch in my opinion, and that's the featured prelim of the card. And then also you got Sergey Spivak against Waldo Cortez Acosta. Waldo Cortez Acosta, he throws wild, he swings, he hits hard, and he's going to look to take Spivak's head off. But I think Spivak is maybe going to be too experienced. He's going to use that wrestling heavy approach, push Waldo up against the cage and try to take him down. And I think Spivak's going to get the victory in that one. And lastly, you've got Wang Kong against Ariana Lipski. Wang Kong, she did get her first loss in her last fight, but she's here to put on a show always. Great striking, very well accomplished striker. She's called the Joker. She comes, she kind of entertains the crowd. But Ariana Lipski as well is very experienced. 27 fights against Wang Kong's 8 fights. I'm going to favour Ariana Lipski to get the victory in that one. Let me know any of your predictions within this card. Also, make sure you drop me a follow. Like I said, I'm going to be doing this for each and every card. I've also got main card prediction on my page as well. So make sure you give me a follow, but drop me a comment and let me know what your thoughts are for this card as well.